Honestly, I'm tired of repeating the same cycles. I wanna let it go. So here I go, life drop. Starting a new path for my fam. Finding who I am. Speaking life, loving me, even when I fall. Cause life be life in us all. Life be life in us all. Cause life be life in us all. Life be life in us all.
Hey y'all, hey, it's me, Portia O, your host of Life Be Lifin podcast. And I am here once again with another episode of Life Be Lifin, with me as your host. And today I have a very special guest, another one of my little TT fam on TikTok, okay? This is Authentically Shawn.
Hey guys.
Hey, girl. I'm so excited. First of all, y'all know I already be excited, okay? But I am extremely excited to have her here. We connected on TikTok maybe last year through the Black Girl Follow Train.
Yes.
And
that train went crazy.
Went ridiculous. But I thank God for it every day because I really did meet a lot of dope Black women through it, okay? And you being one of them, I instantly went to her page. I don't know if you joined my live first or something like that. I don't know. But I went to her page and I was like, oh, this is me now at the age she is now.
Yeah.
Because how old are you, Shawn?
28. I'll be 29 probably this month, but November I'll be 29.
Okay, yes. Oh my gosh. And she's so cute and she's like all of the things. I love it. I fell in love with her instantly. What's your background, Shawn? If you want to tell the people a brief,
introduction.
Yeah.
Okay. So listen, what we're going with right now, because I'm forever evolving, but right now I would say storyteller, content creator. And I'm right now working on getting my master's so I can become a licensed counselor. So, impactful. That's my thing. Just being impactful in the world.
Yes. Did you know that's my ultimate goal is to become a licensed clinical therapist? That is so
in sync.
It's the alignment. The Lord knew what I needed to see. And when you told me you were releasing your podcast, I listened to the whole first season. You are definitely on my Apple playlist of podcasts. And I was just like, she's just so cute and so informative. You have so much wisdom already. And I think I shared that with you before. Like, you don't even know how far you already are. And I'm just grateful to see the evolution of you. And we don't know each other personally, but I do feel like we have a connection anyhow, especially through the market that we are in, this podcasting world. And we just really, like you said, trying to be impactful, trying to do something different and show up, for ourselves first and for other people, through our journey. So
yes.
Yeah, it's really beautiful to watch. It's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you. Oh, I love that. Thank you.
No problem. So real quick, let me just introduce Life Be Life. And if this is your first time here on this podcast, we talk about how life be over here, life in us via all types of relationships, situations, and everyday things we are experiencing all while in real time, healing and learning how to be a better human being. And if you're not trying to do that, you may not be in the right place. But also, if you are here, it's because God wanted you to be here. So just listen, okay? Tap on in. So
amen.
So today we are talking about friendships and the cycles that are all encompassing in that. Okay.
Because life be life in the friendships.
Girl, come on. Would you tell them? Listen, And somebody shared with me recently, they think that those are even more difficult than a romantic relationship, friendships. And I have to think about that. What do you think about that?
Do I think that they're more difficult?
Well, not the. I think when you break a friendship off, the going through the grieving process of a friendship is much more difficult than a romantic relationship. That's what they say.
That is so funny because on my podcast this week, I just talked with my best friend about this. So the alignment is like, yes, and we're talking about, like I said, that was one of the hardest breakups I ever had, was our friendship. Like it made me so sad.
Wow.
So I think that they definitely can be harder than romantic ones because, you know, your friends see you through more sometimes, and they've been with you longer than some of your relationships. So when you're grieving like a 10-year friendship, 5-year friendship versus like a few months or a few years in a relationship, it can hit different. It can hit different.
Absolutely. I think we're going to get into it because, listen, I know, like, for me, I had a friendship that I had since kindergarten with a young lady, and our friendship ended when I gave birth to my first child. So what was I, 28? And we've known each other since we were 5, been through all of life cycles thus far up until that point. And I feel like for the first couple of years of my marriage, I was grieving that friendship. Like, you know what I'm saying? And instead of me like purposefully grieving it, it was kind of like me suppressing it. But I kept getting triggered by little things. And I was like, why is this affecting me this way? Like, I should be able to just let this person go. Like, they're not here anymore. But it was just like the grieving process of it. It does hurt. It hurts a lot. It hurts a lot. Yeah, we're going to talk about all the things and the type of friendships, because everybody ain't really your friend, baby. That's a whole nother thing. So one of the questions I have, because y'all know my segment, I got some questions, y'all. So I just have a few questions. And one of the questions is, why are friendships so important to you? These are questions we're going to answer throughout, okay? But why are friendships so important to you? Another question is, when did you learn truly about how friendships are? And then the last question is, who do you think you have become because of your friendships? Listen, we're going to talk about it. We're going to go to this next segment, Did You Know? And this is a segment where if you didn't know, that's okay, because your girl is here to tell you something that I just learned myself, okay? So did you know that friendships truly have categories or stages? Here's what the peakcoaching.com had said. So the different stages potentially are acquaintances, peer friend, close friend, or best friend, okay? Now, each one has a maintainable section that this guy broke it down into. So an acquaintance is unlimited, maintainable. And then the level, what you would disclose to them, an acquaintance, is like facts. And the level of trust that's needed is little to none, okay? And then he said peer friend, the maintaining is like many. It's you maintain a lot of those type of relationships, which and what you disclose to them people are opinions. And the level of trust needed in that relationship is some. It's just like very little. Okay. The next friendship stage is close friend. And you maintain a small number of these type of friendships. And what you disclose are goals and some weaknesses. And also the level of trust needed is much more, right? And then the final stage of the friendship, if you are so blessed to get to there, is a best friend. And how many you maintain of these are very few. And what you disclose are dreams and intimate details. And the level of trust needed is the highest level. Okay. So what do you think about these cycles of friendship, Shawn? What do you have to say about what that chart said?
That chart, right? So what's very funny, I love the chart. I don't use the same words as the chart, but I love the chart because that's something actually I feel like I've recently realized is the different, like maybe within the last 2 or 3 years, the different levels of friendship.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, I would say I probably have friends. I have friends, acquaintances, and I wouldn't say close friends. I normally call my close friends like my sisters. And then I have like my best friends. So I resonate with that in the sense of you have people you don't really associate with them, and they are maybe I would think of those like your social media friends too, like your acquaintances. They're just people you kind of see on social media. Maybe you like a photo here and there, and like those are your acquaintances. Then you have your friends who maybe if you're having a big celebration, like that's how I kind of categorize it, right? If it's like my wedding, I'll invite you because you're my friend, right? But you're not gonna be my bridal party because you're just my friend, right? But like my close friend, you might be in the bridal party. My best friend, you might be the bridesmaid, you know?
Right.
Kind of like how I would like think about it too.
Yeah. Also with my wedding, nobody may be standing next to me, but that don't mean you're not my friend. That's just this is where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no shade. It's just also it's so funny because one of my cousins who I was really good friends with, we used to hang out all the time. And when I told her about my dream wedding or whatever, I was like, before I had like 10 plus bridesmaids because I really thought all these people were my friends, right? Yeah. And the more life happened, the more I realized they weren't. And I had to take a lot of people that were originally in my bridal party in my mind off that list. And so even to the point that I was like, you know what? I think I just want my 2 little sister cousins next to me, right? And even though we don't hang out every day, we don't talk every day or whatever, I know without a shadow of a doubt that those girls are loyal to me. I don't have to question who they are to me or where I stand in their life. And no matter what I do or what I go through, they're going to rock with me, right? And so that's who I want to stand next to me on that day. And that's it. Yeah. Like they're both going to be my maids of honor because neither one of them are married, but they both going to stand next to me and that's going to be that. And she got so offended by that. Like, how dare you not put me in your wedding plans? And I'm like, but why do I have to?
Yeah, look at this. That could be let's see.
I thought I was tripping, child.
It does that. It's like the Holy Spirit just knocks stuff down. I'm like, all right.
He letting us know he in the room. Okay.
No, but like those life moments, those are the moments where like people feel like the friendship is defined by, and it's like if you're not my child's godmother, or if you're not in my bridal party, then it kind of takes away from what people perceive as the friendship.
Right. And it's all about the appearances, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the social media world that we're living in, everybody must be saying you have to. If you don't post for my birthday, is it really real? Like, why does that matter?
Yeah.
Like, why can't I just be going through something personally that I don't feel like posting for nobody's birthday? I don't care. I don't care if you post me. I don't care. I just don't care. And it's not that I don't care because I've talked to you personally. We probably hung out for your birthday. All the things. Why are you caring that I don't post on social I don't post on social media?
Yeah, one of my friends, she got a little upset with me about not posting like her birthday stuff, and I was there. Like I was there at the event and everything, but I guess I didn't post enough photos of it. And I'm like, honestly, I just didn't like my outfit that day. I thought I wasn't that cute, so I didn't post nothing. Like it wasn't because I don't love you. It wasn't cute, so I wasn't posting on my stories. And I'm posting on yours. Hey, but I'm not posting on mine.
Right. So,
but social media has been a big part in defining friendship.
Absolutely. It's all about, that's a part of our culture anyway. The number one stunner. We all want to be like, showing all the things. And if you're not, then are you really living life? But it's a lot of life that is being lived outside of social media, especially outside of people, what they're showing the happy moments. That's not realistic all the time. But I get it, like whatever. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I've figured out thus far. I think around that time, it was a lot of transition that happened in my life when I met my husband and everything. And I lost so many friends at that period of time. And it wasn't even intentionally like I was like, F y'all, I got a man now, blah, blah, blah. That wasn't my energy. Because I was quickly shown that who I thought would ride with me regardless, they were only riding because we were in the same boat at that time. But as soon as they thought that now I'm no longer a part of that crew, the single crew especially, they weren't really trying to ride for me. But that's not the type of friend that I was. I was like going to be, if one of my friends would have got a man and whatever, I would have been right there like, hey, let's go. Like we in there like swimwear. It wouldn't have been no two ways about it. But that quickly showed me, and I really was holding on for dear life to a lot of those relationships. And they were just really acquaintances that I called my best friends. And that's sad. Like I had categorized these people like, these are my best friends. They're my closest friends. And we're going to do life together. You're going to be the godfather. You're going to be the god. Like, and no.
I've kind of, so I've been the person on the other end. So you've been my friend before recently. And it's been interesting to watch us navigate because one of my like best friends, she's in a different space. Like she's in a relationship, like she's playing, she's like not playing. She's like mothering to like a stepmom, all that kind of stuff. And it was very interesting because she felt like she couldn't relate to us anymore. And in some ways we felt like we couldn't, like she didn't want to like do things that we wanted to do, right? Because she was in a different place in her life. And it was the first time that I ever have sat with a friend in us not being so similar. Because when you make a lot of your friendships, like we were in high school, so we related over being in school. We were in a lot of the same cycles, doing a lot of the same things. And so when you grow up and you grow out, you start to have different interests and different things become your priority. And so our friendship really almost ended over it, because it was like we just didn't know what to do with it, and we didn't feel like we related to one another. But then we had to make a conscious effort, right? It comes a lot. I'm not gonna say a lot, but it comes a conscious effort to say like, let's find something new we can relate over, or let me support you on where you are, and you support me where I am. But when you start to grow off differently from your friends, I wouldn't even like if we weren't friends, I wouldn't say that she was never my best friend. I would just be like, we just not aligned anymore. You kind of just, the relationship got downgraded a little bit too, because now I can't hold you in that space because we don't have that closeness that we had.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. But my only issue with that, Shawn, to be honest, because I had a friend that was my best, like that was really my best friend. He's a guy, and maybe it was different because he was a guy, but I don't know. But when he was with me every step of the way, he was a witness at my wedding because I got married at the courthouse in secret. Anywho, so he was with me, and he was like, hey, "You sure you want to do this?" Like he was riding with me, whatever I wanted to do. Cool, whatever. But after that, like he went from being at my house like almost every day, kicking it with me all the time, to when I got married, obviously that dynamic had to change. But he didn't feel no type of way about that. He was still there when I called him, and we talked less frequently. We saw each other less frequently. But it was never, but when we did talk, it was like we picked right back up where we left off. It was never no feelings towards anything because he knew that I'm in another phase in life right now, right? And I mean, things happen quickly or whatever, but it was I lost friends before I said I do. And before I even said I do, they were already acting crazy. And then when I said I do, it was like, I can't believe you didn't invite me. And well, y'all weren't being supportive. And if you really are my friend, I just felt like you should have showed up differently for me. And it really wasn't that energy. And first of all, I wasn't even that tapped in at that time of my life, like how I am now with God and everything like that. But I'm now looking back on it, I was like, God was showing me so much about myself in those instances, right? Because I really was like gonna put in all the effort to still be that friend that show up for my friends, but nobody was reciprocating that energy. And that's been like a running theme in my life. So yeah, I just feel like my friends weren't showing up for me the way that I would them, but it just spoke more to a deep rooted issue, which was that I love hard. And I was very intentional about those people that I was in relationship with at that time. But that time period just proved to me that that energy wasn't reciprocated and it wasn't what I thought it was. Right. And that became very clear in their actions from that moment forward. Like, no matter how much I tried to involve them, no matter how much I tried to still show up, like they were purposely like defiant, essentially. Like, it was just such a weird space. And I was like, what is happening? Like, I'm just staying Portia. I haven't changed anything. At that point, I hadn't had no kid yet. Like, it was just very confusing. And then for that to happen with my best friend that I've known since kindergarten, around that same time, like, she just started becoming, like, she lived in DC since college. And she all of a sudden would calling me every day. Well, we don't talk, and you don't check on me since you got a man now. And I'm like, girl, we didn't talk like that before. Right. It was so weird. Like, it was just, it was
that's really a thing when people, like, when new people come in, then people start wanting territory they never had before. It's like, we never did that. Even before this.
We talk every now and then, but it was no love lost. You know what I'm saying? Because,
yes,
you know, people be living a life. Like, I don't expect you to be living in DC and talking to me every single day. That was never the expectation. Now, all of a sudden, you want to put this expectation on me because I have a husband. And then you're going to say, then the truth came out because the girl told me, you shouldn't be the one that got married. It should have been me.
Oh.
So.
Well. What?
That was. I was like, wait, what?
Right.
And my husband was Nigerian. And so she was like, I know all about their culture and everything. And I practice and I know about the God of Oshun. She's trying to tell me his religion and everything. And I'm like,
oh my goodness.
He's a Christian. That's not. No, we don't do that. And she was like, no, I should have been the one to have a Nigerian man, not you, because you don't know nothing. And like, it just all started pouring out. And what really started pouring out was all of the years of resentment and jealousy and envy. And I, again, was not having those feelings towards her. And I'm not trying to act like I've been perfect Patty in all my relationships. That is not what I'm saying. But I know when I love on somebody, and I genuinely thought like she felt that same way about me because that was the representation. That's what it was given. We all on social media. My best friend in town. Oh my gosh, this is so great. And every time she came to town, because her family is based in Chicago, she would stay at her family house. But this time, now that I'm married, she like, I want to stay at your house. I was like, okay. It was so weird. It was such a weird time. And I was like overcompensating all the time for her. And my husband told me very early on when I told him, before he even met her, like, that's not really your friend. I was like, how dare you? We've been together since kindergarten. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, it's not. And she really showed her ass.
Yeah.
Like, and it was really sad. And that really hurt me. It really hurt me because I was like, all this time, like, I was breaking my back to be your friend. Again, talk about reciprocation. Like, I would do anything for you. And I valued you at this level. And you weren't looking at me the same. So it just really was sad. It was really sad. And I'm not saying that we weren't close friends. And I think we did fall out of, would you consider that falling out of alignment? I don't know. Because I feel like it was just
right, because it was like rooted in the jealousy too. That like maybe it was never.
It was always under the surface, like right there. But because, so these are details. I'm just giving y'all the facts, guys, okay? The thing is, I was always smaller. She was the bigger girl, whatever, since we were kids. She was a big girl. Everybody always talked about her. I didn't care. I always stood up for her. Like, that's my friend. I don't care. I don't care. I never cared about her being overweight or anything like that. And then in college, her senior year of college, she lost all that weight. Like, finally got herself down to a good size. And we were probably like the same size at that point. And I think I might have even gotten bigger than her at that point. That's when I was in my thick girl phase. Okay. So listen, but I didn't feel no type of way. I was happy for her because I knew that was a battle that she had all of her life, right? But that was a deep rooted thing. Like, she let it all out and she just told me how she really felt, how that affected her. But it wasn't me doing it. That was more of a societal thing. I never cared that you were big. I always wanted you to be great. I want you to get the guys that you wanted. Like, it was never a thing for me. But yeah, so she went to college. I didn't go away to university. I stayed home for community college, you know. And then she kind of essentially said that to me, like, she got master's degrees, and you know, she
was always in competition with you. She was all. Yeah.
There you go. And I wasn't in competition with her. I was every time she made a new accomplishment, I was that's what I'm talking. That's my best friend.
People be in solo competitions. It's like, you competing with, I'm not even in the race with you. I'm in my own race.
In the race. I had no clue. Totally oblivious. Like,
yes.
What? Yeah, and then it all came to a head when that happened, and I had my first child, and she was supposed to be the godmother. And I remember reaching out to her, like, "Are you gonna come to the christening?" She was like, "I don't think I should because you didn't even tell me you was in the hospital." It was just anyway. And that was the end for me because it was like, girl, I was just fighting for my life for a whole month in the hospital. And you told me, I should have been calling you, letting you know I'm fighting for my life. Yeah. Well, you got my mama number, my man number, my sister number, my brother number.
What are you, my best friend? You looped in.
You're looped
in. Yeah.
Didn't come to the hospital when I gave birth. I personally texted her the picture I sent everybody. It was just a whole thing. So it was just like, Portia, you really got to open your eyes and see this for what it is. Mm-hmm. And that was that. But that was my experience. And I know I went into a whole nother thing. But Shawn, what can you tell me of one of your experiences as well? I know you shared a story already, but do you have another one that kind of shaped your view
of friendship?
On friendship, yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me think. So mine's would probably be an experience I had young, right? And then now I'm having to untrain myself from it, right?
Okay.
So I can share that. Okay.
Yeah.
So growing up, this is probably when I was like 7, 8, right? I was all same as you. I was always like super loving, super connected, always trying to go the extra mile, calling all the time. Like I just had so much love to give, and I was just trying to find the places to put it in, right? And so I would lean a lot into my friendships, they were like my family relationships. But you know, when you're young, your family is your friends. Mm-hmm. So I would put them all into my friendships. But the issue is, well, I'm gonna give this perspective of the young child, and then I'll give what the perspective was once I got older. As a young child, it felt like they didn't like me back because they weren't giving me that same energy back. Yeah. So eventually, when you just keep trying to give yourself into the friendships and the relationships, and it's not being reciprocated, you start to feel like a bother. So I began to then be a low maintenance friend, meaning like, I didn't want to bother you. If you wanted to talk to me, then you had to call me, right? And then I knew you wanted to be bothered with me, so I would participate and all that kind of stuff. I didn't really share a lot about myself. I mostly was just listening to people and their problems and their drama because I was trying to be low maintenance. And like that, just like that. Now being an adult, I understand that they had their own personal stuff going on in their childhood. But I didn't know that back then. All I knew was, I'm reaching out, you're ignoring my calls, you're not showing up when you say you're gonna come. I remember I had a birthday party, and one of my family members was supposed to come, and she just, I'm on the way, and just never showed up. just never came. And I would be talking to one of my other friends on the phone, and like her brother would answer and be like, she's not here, but I could like hear her laughing in the background. So it's like, these people really don't rock with me, you know, as much as I rock with them. And eventually I just got super fed up with it and stopped reaching out. And then it made me kind of turn into a low maintenance friend. So to me, that meant that my perspective of friendship at that point became, I'm y'all's friend, but y'all not really my friend.
Jeez.
And that was something that I had to unpack going to therapy. And then I always found such confidence in my relationship because I was always a relationship girl.
Yeah.
So my confidant was always my boyfriend. It was never really my friends.
Yeah.
So now being single and having actual friends, I'm now having to relearn that it's okay for my friends to be a confidant for me. I'm not bothered. Like, I won't even call my best friend sometimes. I'm like, I thought about you, but I didn't call you because I didn't want to bother you. Because like, it still triggers me a little bit to this day. It's like a conscious effort of having to not allow that to still be my mold. So growing up, that was probably the experience that molded what friendship was to me. And I definitely carried that throughout elementary, middle school, high school, college, and then now finally seeing what it really means to have friendship. And two-sided, and a two-sided friendship.
Yes. So I can totally relate to that, but I don't think I really kind of went low maintenance. I went in overdrive of trying to please love me, see me, I want you, you know what I'm saying? Like that was me.
And that was mine, but it was like, I'm such a good friend, love me. Like, you see how good of a friend I'm being to you? Love me, give it back to me.
Right, give it back to me. And even if they didn't, I would just sit in silence about it. More so than approach it, deal with it, or anything. I would just kind of like, well, maybe this just, I always give people excuses. I always excuse people for their behavior, but I'm over here secretly dying inside. You know what I'm saying? And I always put others' needs before mine, and that's not good, right? So that made me learn that part. Like, well, they'll get there one day. I give so much grace.
Oh, gosh,
I give so much grace. Like, they're gonna see it one day. One day they're gonna see I'm worthy, which is a whole nother. Like, that's a me problem. Like, because I feel my self-worth was so low that I was allowing people in my space and in my orbit that weren't even worthy to be there in the first place. And I'm so busy trying to get validation from them. And instead of validating myself enough to say, you are a great friend, you are a good person. I'm waiting for somebody else to pat me on the back and be like, yeah, Portia, thank you. And that was never more so evident than when my birthday come around. My birthday is December 21st. I bring in winter.
Oh, yeah, you're Sagittarius.
Yes, I am.
I think I remember that. Yes, because I am too. Yeah, we both Sagittarius.
Yes. And and it's 4 days before Christmas. So, and every year my friends would drop the ball on my birthday because they're like, oh, it's Christmas time. I ain't really got it. I can't really. But everybody else's birthday is turned up to the max. They want to go to Vegas.
And my birthday is coming all year. It's coming all year. It ain't new. It's been the same birthday.
It's been the same. I don't change it on y'all every other year. I ain't pick, hey, this month is going to be this time, guys. Like, no. It's the same all year round. And I did get to a point of being fed up with them, and I aired out my grievances because only so much somebody can take, right? And I was like, it's not fair. Like, y'all know my birthday. Like, come on. Like, y'all can do something, even if it's not that particular week. Like, y'all can plan earlier in December. Like, come on. Like, figure it out. So one year they really did show up for me. Whatever.
I was gonna say, like, how was that? Did that finally show you what it should be like? And then it's kind of like, oh, this is what it always should have been. And then like that light bulb went off, or it wasn't like that?
It was like that, but also at that time I was dating someone and they didn't really want him to be a part of it because one of the guys in the friend group I was kind of talking to on and off for years but we never were anything serious, right? But it was more so everybody else can bring somebody in the group, but Portia couldn't, right? And I'm like, how y'all gonna tell me who the hell I can bring?
On your birthday?
This is my birthday. This is my, and if I want to bring who I'm talking to, that's what I can do. No, it should just be our friend group.
Like on your birthday, maybe it's someone else's birthday, but it's my birthday.
It's my birthday.
It's my birthday.
Yeah. So that was so what we were originally going to do would go to a cabin or something, and they was like, no, we don't want him to come. Yeah, it was a fool. Anyways, but that again speaks to where I was at that time, trying to people please and, again, putting myself to the side because what makes everybody else comfortable. Fuck that. Like, no, I want to be comfortable. If I want, I don't care if he is the flavor of this month. That's what I want.
I want grape this month. Okay. So
period.
That's like one of those real testament. I mean, I won't say real because sometimes it ends up not being aligned, but I think that's like a thing in friendship is when your friend is doing things that you don't necessarily agree with. And it's like still being with them, even though you don't agree with what they're doing.
Yes.
That is a testament to a friendship sometimes too. Just being able to sit with me and my choices and where I'm deciding to be versus where you want me to be. Because sometimes as a friend, it's hard because you're like, I see this. I don't want this for you. Yes. But I have to also at the same time respect your journey because you're somewhere different and where you are is where you're supposed to be because my journey ain't the right one for you.
Absolutely.
So that's a testament to like true, I won't say true, but another way of looking at friendship is being able to sit with your friends, even when they're making choices you don't agree with.
Yes. And I didn't learn that.
And support it.
That part. I didn't learn that until the last few years, I feel like. Me and one of my best girlfriends, we've been through all of this ish together. And so when she was going through her little phase, and I was like, girl, the fuck? Like, you are so much better than that. Like, you don't need to be doing that. But also, I found myself, again, just sitting in it with her, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of like supporting her where she was at that time and letting her, I'm like, you sure? She's like, yeah, well, this is how I feel right now. And I'm like, okay, well, and I didn't totally agree with it, but I understood it. I empathize with her and I let her be, you know what I'm saying? And when she came out of it, she was like, girl, I was tripping. And then I was like, girl, listen, I was trying to.
I was waiting to tell you. Let me.
And even with me now being back on the scene, going through this divorce, all this type of stuff, I'm just like, and my friend's like, you sure? You sure you wouldn't do that? I'm like, yes, because I have needs. But also, I be like, I'm not gonna do it because that's not. They like, okay, I thought you didn't want to. That ain't really you know what I'm saying? So it's just like meeting your friend where they are and being in the valley with them. I think I heard that somewhere recently. Like, it's okay to be in the valley with your people, but also I should be able to still lend you some type of support in that moment, right? Me being down here with you, I'm down here with you, girl. I'm letting you know I'm here with you. But also, I want to lend you something, a tool or something that you could possibly utilize when you're ready. I'm not rushing your process. I'm not rushing you to get over to the mountaintop. I'm just kind of like, here for you. And whichever way you want to move, we're going to move, but always looking upward.
Yes, I saw a video yesterday, and she called it her cave dwellers, and people who could like sit with her in her stuff.
Yeah.
And that's been one of my challenges, being a friend, right? Is learning to be that, because I'm very solution based. Like, I'm like, let's move forward, let's move on, right? I acknowledge what I'm feeling. I sit in it for
Yeah.
the moment that I need it, but I also acknowledge that you have to sit in it as long as you decide to sit in it. So
Yes.
I don't decide to sit in stuff for that. Like I don't need to keep sitting in this. I got it, and
Mm-hmm.
let's move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been having to I've been like that. Oh yeah. So I've we're just gonna let it drape at this point because
Right. I mean, it is what it is.
it's fine. Only reason I kept putting it up is because if I don't put it up, then the rest of it's gonna just keep falling all down because it'll.
Right.
So like, let me just keep putting it back up. But
Right.
yeah. So with one of my friends, she needed me to be able to sit with her,
Mm.
and I have been unpacking like how can I do that, because my thing is I want to give you the answer. I want to help you move out of it. I want to
Yeah.
move forward. And
Right.
sometimes people don't need that. Like sometimes as a friend, your friend doesn't need that. They just need you to sit with them. And so
Yes. Yes. Yes.
yeah.
And that's been a hard thing. I don't know if that's a sad thing because I'm very solution
It
based
might be.
too. And I get very aggravated easily when people they just want to dwell on the negative. Okay, this is the problem. We know this is the problem. What can we do to fix it?
To
But
fix
no, it's just no. Let's move. Like
let's move out of it.
let's get past this. I don't know if that's been true all of my life that I've been that way, but I think it more so speaks to me wanting to help people. And even if I wasn't the best at, because I suppress. But for you, I want to help you move forward. When I'm mad, I just want to be mad. Leave me alone. I don't. But also, I probably wouldn't share too much with somebody that I am mad because I'm so used to holding my feelings to myself, and because I don't want people to look at me differently, like, oh, because you're feeling this type of way, which is so silly, right? But I mean, I guess that goes to the cycles of friendship. So I wanted to really speak on that chart again because I want to know, when do you decide, when you, from the beginning of meeting someone, they're an acquaintance initially, right? When do you
Yes.
decide to move them up from an acquaintance to, which one was it? A
Peer.
peer friend, right?
Peer
Yeah.
friend. Okay. Mm, for me, I'm big with, so how my friends kind of get higher with me is how much we like emotionally connect. So
Mm,
it would be the more that I get to know them emotionally, or we find something that we bond over, that's when it would maybe go, and it becomes consistent too,
yeah.
to an extent. So once
That,
there's like a
yeah.
oh,
Sorry.
oh yeah. No, you're fine. Yeah, so to me, if they're like an acquaintance, and then I wouldn't say it's a time. It's more, what is our connection like?
Right. So when you first connect with somebody, how do you, oh, because that's where I probably should have started, child. Anyway, how do you know that this is like an acquaintance, or this is like that was nice. It was what it was for that day, but probably won't kick it with them again. You know what I'm
Won't be
saying?
anything else. Yeah, I think it depends. I think I know. Once I meet you, how close I'll probably be with you.
Really?
I
Yeah.
yeah, I can tell based on our chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
and then based on the comments that you're saying, how we're engaging with one another. If I would
Mm-hmm.
want to talk more outside of this one situation, or if it's like, all right, girl, I
Mm-hmm.
see you on the gram, I see
Mm-hmm.
you on the internet somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's more. I know I think I'll know once I start talking to people. Really, like there hasn't been a lot of times where I haven't categorized people, and then they have kind of come out of that category.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much once I meet you, I kind of know how close we're gonna get and
Yeah.
where it's gonna go.
Yeah, I think I still fall in the trap sometimes, to be honest. Y'all know I'm transparent. I'm telling my truth, child. At my big 35-year-old age, I still go into settings with the intention to make new friends. Like
Yeah.
that's always my intention, to make a new
Mm,
friend. And
nice.
like you said, you kind of be vibing with people and y'all being like, smart alecky, and like I'll be like, okay, like I can see myself, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Uh-huh.
But then I feel like I fall into the trap. Like I have a great time with that person, and everything, and we'll be around each other multiple times, and it still be that kind of energy. But then that it never goes more than acquaintances. Even if I desire, oh, I want to have this person as a peer friend, right?
Yeah.
And so I get caught up in that a lot because it's like, man, now I go back to self reflection. Well, was it me? Did they not think
Mm-hmm.
that I was friendship worthy? Or I thought we were having a really good time. They seem to be really enjoying me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that just again speaks towards where I am within myself. And that person could just be la da da, ain't, giving a care, or maybe they didn't set the intention to make a new friend. They just enjoyed the moment. And
Yeah.
that was that. So
I relate to that in the sense of mine is more like if we have a good time. I told you I have my trigger. So my thing is like, if you want to be my friend, you better tell me you want to be my friend because I'm not going to try to bother you. So it's
yeah,
like if after we meet and next time I see you, we can kiki, it'll be great. But I'm probably not going to be the one. Now I'm trying to do better with that. I am
yeah.
working on that. But
Mm-hmm.
I probably wouldn't be the one to like reach out. I'm like, hey, you want to get together again? Or, because I even had someone reach out to me like, "Hey, let's grab lunch or something." I'm like, "Yeah, we should." And then like that was the end for me, and then I
Yeah.
actually met someone recently while I was out, and I'm like, it should probably be a really good friend. And I'm like, I'm going to be intentional to actually like reach out and start communication because
Yeah.
it's a two-way street.
It's a two-way street. It's a
It's a two-way
two-way
street.
street indeed.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I like I said, I set that intention. And so I be always looking for somebody. But then I also am realizing that people just want to be your acquaintance portion, and that's okay. And they can enjoy your company without it being much deeper than that. And that's fine. Um, and
Maybe
so
that might be a sad thing too. We get along with. I think we get along with everybody, so anybody can be our
yeah,
friend. Yeah.
yes,
So it's like
everybody.
why not be friends? Some people are more reserved. Some people aren't like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and I get that. So I'm looking more so outwardly, like, well, maybe they're not in that space. Maybe they feel like they got enough friends. Maybe you know what I'm saying. One of my cousins used to say that all the time, and it used to wear me out. I hate that phrase, the no new friends thing.
Oh
But
my god! Yeah, I don't.
I am so openly trying to make friends all the time, and it could also speak because I never really felt like people I really consider friends and I rocked with for a long time really, again, was not reciprocating. Right. So now I'm trying to be more purposeful about making friendships and they be in alignment with who I am at my core and currently. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
Portia today wasn't that Portia 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can acknowledge that now, but at that time, whatever. But I remember when I was trying to make a new friend. While I was making a new friend, I was telling her about this lady that I was talking to, and we were relating to each other about our kids and our marriages and things like that. And I was like, oh yeah, she was telling me this, and I was like, it just felt so good to know that somebody else is experiencing what I'm experiencing and all that type of stuff. And she was like, who? What? Who is this? Ain't no new friends. You don't need no new friends because she got the same friends she's had forever. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's where you are. That's not where I'm at. I'm always open to making new, valuable connections or whatever. And regardless of what cycle it may be, or maybe not even cycle, but the stage, I'm okay with that. Like I'm becoming okay with that. So, um, yeah, that's just how I feel about it. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. I saw this post recently and it was I want to say it was a guy and he was like, everyone says no, these my day one friends, my day one friends. He's like, well, I'm looking for my day two friends. He's like, because your day one friends, like they're the friends that saw you growing up. So they're great for that. But your day two
Mhm.
friends, you meet them and you have more intention for the friendships.
Yes.
They're like your friends that you kind of grow with, and it's like, hey, what's your goals? Now we're adults, now we're grown, so we're intentional, we
Yes.
have goals, we have plans. And your day two friends tend to be people who help you grow in those ways. Not that maybe your day ones are not, because your day ones, they kind of sit with you in the mud, they love you where you are for however you are. But your day two friends, your tolerance is a little different, and what you kind of come together to do is different too. So
Yes. 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 Absolutely.
I'm with you. I'm looking at my day twos. Where are day twos
Where my day twos at? Period.
at?
Um, that is so good. That is so true. So yeah, we were talking about going from acquaintances to peer friend. So now you've reached the level of peer friend. How do you decide? Okay, like you said, it's emotional based, seeing like where y'all are, where you connect at, or whatever. So how do you decide? I'm gonna go from the peer friend to the next stage, which is a close friend.
To a close
Is it
friend.
still no timeline? It's just more so like organically letting it happen.
I'm such a vibe person, so it is
Yeah.
it is more organically letting it happen. And for me to go from a peer friend. So, and I always think of things differently. So I'm like, the acquaintance is like, someone you just meet out. Maybe a friend you can like go to the club with. You can kind of club with anybody. So it's like, you want y'all to get to drinking, y'all partying. Everyone likes each other pretty much when you're clubbing, right? So then to get to that next level would mean that now me and you have more depth to our relationship. Now, like maybe we have found some common interest. Maybe we have found
Mhm.
something that we relate over, that we like alike. That's probably when I would move you more into close friends, because then we could spend more time together. Because like, okay, me and you,
Yeah.
we love to do painting, right? So
Yeah.
now we paint together, or we love hikes, so now we go on hikes together. Then that would like move you up to the close friend for me, because now we have something that we bond over and want to spend more time together doing.
Because I
Mhm.
am so tapped in now, and my eyes are more open than they were before. Um, and so if a person ain't giving me the energy that I'm willing to give, then I just
Mhm.
kind of be like, oh, that ain't it. But if they are, then I'm like, okay, well, let's do more things together, like you said. Like, let's do this, let's do that, whatever. Or I'm trying to be more inclusive, because I have my set amount of friends that I hang out with, that I don't child, I only got like a handful of friends that are not family.
Right.
Like, just a handful. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like, and because I like being around all of my friends, I'm not one of those friends that be like, well, I got this group of friends for this, and I got this group of friends for that. But I also recognize that everybody's thing ain't everybody's thing, right? Yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about that concept? Like, not intermingling your friend groups, or do you have that issue?
No, I'm the queen of intermingling. I combine all the friend groups. It's like when we get together, let's all get together. Let's
Period.
all be friends.
Period.
Right.
Is that not
Yes.
a sad thing? I don't know, because
It,
that's how
it,
I feel.
it's out, but what I will say is I think I want to step away from that a little bit. Yeah, because sometimes you want to have like your separate friends. Like I had one of my friends, I told her, I said, "You just my friend. I'm not bringing you with the intermingling group, because I just want you as just my friend, like my other sacred space. Because my other friends might get on my nerves. I might need to talk to y'all. Might need another perspective, and it's harder when y'all are all in the group
Mm,
together too. So it's like I
yeah.
kind of want to allow myself to have my own separate thing. And even the people who I'm looking to meet now, like I'm going to go out more and socialize more and meet new people. And I don't know that I want that to be incorporated with my my main core friend group, because
Yeah.
I want to have different people who support me in different ways. Like my core group, ideally, maybe they'll support me in every way, but maybe I have my friends who are like my podcast friends, right? And we kind of share tips and we evolve there. My spiritual friends, I want to have
Mhm.
different groups, and I want to
Mhm.
really get to blossom and be that version of me in those. There'll be a little bit of me in every group, but I want to have
Yeah.
spaces where it's just sacred and safe to, if I really want to nurture that part of me. So I think
Mhm.
I want to actually move from all the intermingling, and then people get offended when
They're not included.
they're not included. If once you mingle the group together and you start doing
Mhm.
things separately, then people get offended too, because it's like, well, why didn't you tell me? I'm at all the other stuff, and it's like, well, it wasn't personal to you. It just maybe this was our thing that we wanted to do. So then it gets tricky there too, because once it's connected, it's kind of locked in, and it has to be that way or has to stay that way too.
Absolutely. That's so funny. Okay, so focusing on the friend group, right? So you saying
Yes.
like when you intermingle, it's like all the time, all of y'all are doing something together. But isn't it something too, like even if we reference Girlfriends, the show, right?
Okay.
Even though they all initially weren't friends, Joan was like the nucleus of it all, and they but they all became friends. But even with them in them becoming, all of them becoming friends, they were like grouped off, like, and that happens in a lot of friend groups. Like, these two are really, really best friends, and these two are really, really best friends, but they're all still really, really good friends.
Good friends, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So with that, like, so with that instance with your friend that you said you don't want to share with nobody, you want to be selfish with her, because baby, no, y'all ain't finna drain her, because I want to be the one. So you wouldn't be willing to have that type, like, do you think that would be offensive in a friend group? Like, to have her as that best friend, but y'all all really good, close, and possibly best friends still.
Yeah, so this other friend, she's more like my close friend, not my best friend. And sometimes I'll bring her with the big group. I don't mind that. But I don't want to, like, so my main group is like, we have our group chat, we have our group outings. So I'm like, I don't want to involve you that much. But sometimes we have like a big thing, sure, like I'll invite y'all to that because you're still my girl and I want you to meet my other friends. But I still want to keep you kind of separate to myself. It's not something that I used to do, but one of my friends, she's good at it. And she has her separate friends. And it's like sometimes I would be like, why you like, it feel like you're so secretive with your other friends. Like, why you got this whole separate group and I don't even know that these are your friends and you talk to them all the time, but they are. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe that's just her having like certain kind of boundaries. And maybe I need to have those same kind of boundaries. Like, I'm offended by it, but because I'm like, well, what? I'm sure not my friends, but it's a lesson for me to learn. Maybe I need to be doing the same thing. Maybe I should also like keep certain relationships maybe more sacred, or not even just sacred, but just keeping them separate.
Yeah.
Because if all else is messing up in the girl group, then I'm like, what I'm gonna do, right? So then I got something, I have different things, so I'm covered and good regardless.
Regardless, absolutely. And I definitely can relate to you when you said you like have a spiritual friend group or your podcast, because I feel like even sometimes I have two best friends that I hang out with all the time, that they are best friends as well. So it's like three of us or whatever. One guy and us two ladies. And I feel like sometimes when I'm telling the guy more so what I got going on, like, oh, my podcast, this and that, or whatever, or and when he found out I'm doing stuff, he'd be like, why I didn't know you did that? Why I didn't know? Or when we talk, like, and what I've been noticing lately with our relationship, it seems like God has settled me in his space as that friend to come to when he needs some spiritual uplifting, even though if he's not recognizing that's what it is. I recognize that that's the role I am playing in his life sometimes, like when he's really feeling conflicted or feeling, like he's really going through something, he'll kind of come vent to me about it. And that's my best friend. We should vent about any and everything, right? We vent about all the things, but like he doesn't open that part of himself up to a lot of people, right? And so I'm like, God, you like one time God put it on my spirit to just go see him face to face. And again, we don't see each other on a regular. And I was like, what? Like, okay. And I was calling him like, where you at? I need to come to your house. Like, let's get together. And I stopped by his house and I didn't know, he didn't tell me anything or nothing. And when I saw him and he was just like, man, it's just how I'm feeling. And and he was like conflicted in his spirit about some things. And when we talked, and God allowed me to have a word for him in that moment. I didn't even know what I was coming there for, but it was just like we were just having a conversation, and that was that. And he was like, that really helped him in that moment or whatever. And I even walked away from it like feeling like I was being used in a different way in my friendship groups. And I was like, that wasn't my intention. I'm just trying to show up as Portia. Like that's all. But this Portia that I am, because of my spirituality growing as in the way that it has, and I can't disclose to him my total full picture of what's happening to me, my metamorphosis of such, right? Because he's not in tune with that. But somebody that also is on that same healing journey as me, or on that same journey as getting in touch spiritually, will be able to, I understand exactly what you're saying because I had experience and You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm realizing that within my relationships, and I'm like, dang. But also with that, it's making me feel like I have to shelter some parts of Portia, right? Because
Yeah.
I want to be so open with everybody, like I've been doing, like, hey, this is me, and da 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 da. But it's like everybody not there. And some people take offense to it, like, who she thinks she is because she done learned this, or she on this little healing journey, and she didn't get, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That also could be my intrusive thoughts. I'm very aware of that.
No, I'm with you. I relate to that. I relate
Yeah.
to that. You want to protect certain things because you feel
Mm-hmm.
like people either it's like I'm sharing something that you don't even appreciate or understand. So it's like you're not even gonna give me what I want. Like I
Yes.
want you to be celebrating this thing. I remember when I was going through all my healing and I'm like, no one is celebrating me.
Yes.
And it's like, well, they don't even get it. They don't even get the
They
deep
don't
things that
get
you're
it.
doing because it's not like, hey, I got a job promotion. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I got a new car, I got a new house. The
Right.
internal work that I'm doing, like you'll see it in my personality, but you can only really
Woo.
appreciate it if you have done it.
That
So then it like,
part. Shawn,
yeah.
get on my girl. Girl. Okay. What I can say towards that though, Shawn, is I feel like this podcast was birthed from that place of feeling in isolation. And like, I know I'm not the only person that ever experienced this. So it got to be, you know what I'm saying? Other
Yes.
people experiencing this. And I felt like God pushing me to like start this. Like, you help to put this out there or whatever more to give a voice to it. And I feel like it has helped because the people that are closest to me, my family and friends, they watch my episodes and they'll be like, even my mom, it's helped our relationship because she'll be like, I didn't know that's how you felt. I didn't know that you were thinking like that about yourself. Why would you have, like, it's been opening up so many more conversations with people I already have relationships with. But it's like an outlet, like, because I don't feel like I can explain it to you one-on-one, or when we're in a group setting, I'd be like, I feel like I'm the eyeball out. At most times, but at least you have this reference and you can kind of chew on what I said in this particular episode and be like, oh, you have a new understanding. And even regardless if you can empathize or relate because you haven't went through your transition yet, but you can hear this is a part of her. Like you said, you see my personality has changed or shift, you know. Yeah, that's crazy. I was just
Yes. That's definitely where mine was birthed too. Cause I'm like, where are the people who get this stuff? And it's like when you start healing, it's like you want to share it, and then you try to
yes.
share with the people you care about. And if they're not there, then it's like it's just not something you want to keep to yourself. It feels like it doesn't feel like you should. It feels like this needs to be talked about.
It needs to be talked about for sure. For sure. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. See, I knew it was something about you, girl. I knew I could see it. I could tell.
It's like a mirror, right? It's like,
right. It's so weird. But it's more so confirmation that you are not alone. And I don't know if you struggle with the isolation of it all, like that in particular. But this season, because I am in the midst of my healing. But even where I was last year, I'm not this year. Even in my friendships, like it's just gaining the better understanding of things. And you question, I've lost relationships, friendships since me starting this journey. And I'm just like, and it wasn't even before. I used to feel like I had to make an announcement, like, I'm no longer going to be your friend. You know what I'm saying? And this time I didn't do that. I just kind of.
Are you an over communicator too?
Yeah, girl. Can you Hi, I am Portia. I like to talk. Yes, 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 yes. That's on my prayer list of my man, Lord. Because
Are you listening?
I know you are. You always are. But that is on my list. I want an over communicator. And somebody questioned me about that the other day. I was like, are you sure you want that? Because you already an over communicator. I was like, yes, because I've dealt with somebody that barely knew how to communicate. And that was a problem for me because I'm constantly talking, trying to pull, and you're constantly like going in, and I'm like, I need you to speak. Use the words. Like, what is happening? Tell me. Let me in. I need somebody that wants to over communicate and knows how to, minimize it when necessary, right? Because that's another thing I'm learning how to do. Everybody doesn't. Some people get overwhelmed with that, right? So I have to meet people where they are. But the same thing, I need somebody that's going to be able to keep up. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, I've lost a lot. But this time, like I was saying with the friend, I was just like, I ain't say nothing. I was just like, I realized a pattern. I was the only one reaching out. I was the only one
because you tapped in, tuned in.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna just stop and see if they. And they knew I was going through my transition of separation and going through my divorce, and they were one of the few people I let in on what was happening with me before I kind of went more public with it. And I was there with them through all their shit and everything, and they did exactly what I thought they were gonna do, which is nothing. They didn't reach out, they didn't say anything, and I was just like, well, there's your answer, Portia. That's really not. They're not on the same level as you. They're not. They don't care like you care, right? And I didn't say anything. It's no hard feelings. I don't feel any type of way towards it in a negative way. It's just our season has come to an end, and that's okay. Right. And now I have more space to make newer connections, to get in relationship with more friends or people that are more so in alignment with where I am today and who I am at my core again.
Yes.
So
yeah,
it is what it is. So
all right, we're talking about when sometimes you gotta downgrade people, or sometimes you have to, especially when you're at a point when it's like you're pouring and you need pouring back, and the people around you can't give that to you. And it's like, well, that's okay that you can't. But that means that some of that pouring I'm giving to you, I'm gonna have to pull back a little bit of that, because I'm gonna have to use that for me.
Yes. Anything else you wanted to share about these friends? I mean, do you see yourself going through these cycles? And like you said, even a downgrading, like sometimes you gotta do that with your best friend, your close friend. Like you gotta downgrade them, and that's okay. Because we tend to be in different places in our lives at times. And again, it's no hard feelings, it's no malice, it's none of that. It's just, this is where we are, and maybe it's run its course.
Yeah. I think sometimes we treat friendships like it has to always be this way. And the thing is, if we are forever evolving and they are forever evolving, that means that the dynamic will also be evolving. So maybe you'll be my go-to at this period, and then maybe for this period you won't be. And then maybe we'll come back, and then maybe we won't. It's like, it just depends on where you are at that time. So it's like you have to upgrade, you have to give and take access and revoke and move things around as needed.
Yes. Absolutely. Is there any friend that you've had that you've gave them total access, like you said, and they no longer have access to you?
That I've given total access to and no longer has access to. I mean, I probably wouldn't say that in a friendship, maybe more like relationships, but I feel like your partner's your friend too, right? So I would say yes.
Yeah.
And that can be tricky, because I was telling my best friend now this. I said, I recently realized that I was really nervous. I'm like, because this is my drama, because I have my whole trigger about, like, I have a little bit of abandonment trigger. So if we don't talk for a few days, like, are we still friends? So that's what I be thinking in my head. So we didn't talk for like 2 days, and then it came up like, well, girl, like, because I've allowed her a full access. So I was like, well, girl, she know how you feel about a lot of things. She been your person to talk to about all of this stuff. And then if she ain't your friend no more, she could blow some stuff up, you know?
That's right. She know where the bodies are buried.
Yes, you know. So I'm like, I don't know, Shawn, What,
Yeah.
what like that? Well, when you're that vulnerable with somebody, you give them
Mm.
the space to hurt you, and but
Mm.
that's friendship and that's connection. It's like
Yeah.
what God gave me with that one, as I was battling with that, because ultimately, I don't know what's gonna happen with us in the future. I don't know where our friendship will go, and God was kind of talking to me of like, you can't not connect with people, you can't not enjoy friendship. You just have to trust that whatever comes up, you'll be equipped to deal with.
Yeah.
So say y'all break up and she aired all your drama. Well, then you'll have some conversations to maybe have and you'll get through it and it'll be fine. Like you'll be fine,
Yes. 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 Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. I mean, it will be fine. We be going, and then also that person may not even care to share your mess, and
May
then
not
there's
even,
that.
and then yeah, it's like I'm like, not even it's her. I'm like, it's not even your character, but for some reason, I just feel that. I think that's just
Yeah.
like the natural. It's just normal to feel like that when you expose yourself to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
that you
Dwelling
just
in the
run that
negative.
risk.
Yes, and it's all a risk. It's all a
All of
risk.
risk.
But we so used to dwelling in negative that's where our mind instantly goes, and we will sit over there and catastrophize the whole thing, and none of the things happen.
And
Like, it wasn't that bad. It was
what?
just that easy, clean break. You know what I'm saying? But we're crazy. I don't know why we're wired like this, Lori. Um, it's so many things. But yeah, so I believe in friendship. I believe it's very important, even with your partner. That you guys should be friends, all of that. But they do have stages. They do have cycles, essentially. But it's definitely both parties' responsibility to make sure that the friendship lasts, or make sure that the friendship is performing at its best rate, right? And if
Yeah.
it's not, and if it's no longer serving you, it's okay. And if it's no
Yeah.
longer giving you what you need, that's okay. Like, and if you're no longer interested in putting in the work, that's okay too. And like you said before, I think it's just good that we all recognize that we're all need to evolve, because that's the natural order of life. And it's okay if that person doesn't evolve with you or isn't willing to go there. Go align yourself with some people that are.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Can I share one last gem?
absolutely, go, girl.
Okay, because you made me think about something too. Because in one of my friendships, the one that I was talking about working through, she helped me to acknowledge that sometimes friendships aren't 50-50, just like
Mm,
relationships aren't. So
yes.
my friend was going through a period in her life where I needed to be 80 and she needed to be 20.
Yeah.
And I wanted to dip because it's like,
Yeah.
we need to be equal. You need to be trying just as much as me.
Yeah.
But, one of the things that I was got on about was, if this was you in this situation,
Yeah.
if you were going through this, how would you want to be supported? And so that like helped me to navigate through that, because there may be a time where I'm gonna need my friends to be 80, and if I can only give 20, so I have
Yeah.
to also be that friend. So I think a huge part of friendship also is looking at yourself. What kind of friend are you
Mm-hmm.
being? What kind of friend do you want to have? And all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So sometimes friendships, it's not 50-50. Sometimes it's 80-20, 70-30.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you guys both wanted to continue and are willing, and obviously you don't want anything to be overused or abused. If you always 80 and they always 20, that's another thing. But sometimes
Yeah.
your friend is going through a season
Yes.
and they need you to be that for them, and that's the whole thing about friendship. Is it's not
Yes.
it's easy to be there when we're all up, but it's like when we're down, are you there? Can you be there?
Different. It's
Mhm.
different. Absolutely. Oh girl, that's so much. It's so much in that. That was really good, because that's really true. All your friends are not going to be where you are, and you're not going to always be where you are. But that's a whole nother thing I used to struggle with and still struggle with. It is a trigger for me. But I'm like, Portia, you're so much more valuable than what you place your value at, right?
Mhm.
And it's just like you said, recognize. I think we have to just continuously communicate with ourselves and acknowledge what we're going through and dealing with internally before we project on other people and be like, well, they're being like this and they're being like that. But like you
Yes.
said, just look at you first. And give yourself grace and be like, well, right now I really need my friends, and maybe I need to communicate that to my friends instead of sitting in a space of expectation because I've been showing up for them. I need to let them know, like, hey guys, I need y'all
Because
to show up
people
for
do
me.
not know, y'all. People do not know sometimes.
They're not
They
mind
really,
readers.
and I be trying to be.
Mhm.
I'm not mind reading no more. I used to be trying to be queen mind reader. I said, no, y'all better start
Yeah,
communicating. So I
yeah.
have to do the same thing. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. We need to start communicating better, and we need to also give space for that. Like, and it's okay if they're not, if they don't, maybe they don't have the words right now to communicate that to you, right? So it's just kind of like putting some little bait out there. You know, whatever. Do you need this? Do you need that? Is something happening right now? Whatever. And see, you know, because some people, again, we all have our own traumas. We got our own things we got going on. And instead of looking like somebody is out to get you and they don't care about you, and, you know, thinking of it from that point of view, we got to start looking at the full picture instead of one puzzle piece, period.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and then, this is the last thing. Okay, for real. And then
Okay.
I heard,
Right, we go all day. I'm like, I'm trying to hold stuff in. I'm like, Shawn, swallow that one.
yes, somebody said that. I think it was a sermon I was listening to recently, and they was like, the Portia you met. Oh, when they be like, well, I know you because you this and that, da da da. Like, well, did you meet me? Did you meet the Portia that had just recently had a baby, or did you meet the Portia that was going through depression, or did you meet the Portia that had just got a new job and was all excited about it? Like, it's different stages that we are in every day. I mean, we may wake up today and be on a high, and tomorrow you may meet me and I'll be going through it. I may have just be at the beginning of a depressive episode, and you'd be like, "What the hell?" Like, or you think that's me all the time, but that's not. We have to give people grace. We have to meet people where they are and look at the totality of something again instead of this small look moment.
Yeah.
Don't judge me based off of one moment. Yeah, I cussed him out yesterday, but that's not me all the time.
But you don't know, I didn't cuss him out 15 times before
Hello?
that.
You don't know. That was my cap. I reached my lid now. Enough. But you like, oh no, I can't deal with that type of person. They losing it like that. You don't know. You don't know people's story. But again, when you're getting to know people, just kind of like recognize where you're meeting them at. Take note of that, a mental note, I guess, like where you meeting them at right now. Oh, right now they're all is well and everything is good and da 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 da, you know. And who knows, 5 years from now it'll be a whole nother thing, or next week it may be another thing. We don't know. We don't know. But I think we have to do our best of giving people grace and also protecting your peace, protecting your heart, and doing what's best for you at the end of the day. But it don't have to be done in a malicious way or a mean way or evil way. Just kind of, this ain't for me no more. I don't know. Yeah. Shawn, girl, we could talk forever.
Yes.
We can talk forever and about all the things.
Ooh,
but
so many things.
I know this was so good though. This had been weighing on me for a minute, and I was like, I need to get this out now because I'm just feeling some type of way, and I'm still grieving friendships and relationships and all types of shit. I don't know. It's a lot happening, but I'm grateful that I can have these type of conversations with like-minded people and people that are also going through similar situations, right?
Yes.
I thank you so much for imparting your wisdom and your knowledge on us and being open and transparent and vulnerable with my people, the village out here looking at this.
Right. Don't get me in trouble over here. Look, I'm like, hopefully I ain't in no trouble after this.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And they are going to love you just as much as I do. So please give your social media handles, tell them where they can find your podcast and all the things.
Yes. So you can find me at Authentically Shawn, and it's SHAWN, not SEAN. And you can find my podcast, Limitless Conversations. It is on my YouTube channel, Authentically Shawn, but it's also on Apple and Spotify and all the things. And so it's called Limitless Conversations Podcast. And yes, that's where you guys can find me.
Yes. Do you do any TikTok lives?
I had a period where I was, but sometimes I need to get back on. Sometimes TikTok Live can get weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna be in the right category or what, but
oh shoot.
I don't know what we have in on TikTok Live. But whenever if you do a recap for this episode, I want to come on live. So you have to let me know.
Absolutely.
Whenever.
You definitely will be there for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so y'all go follow my girl. all of my things, tap all of her buttons, do all the things, get her up there and out there because she is so deserving. And thank you again so much, Shawn, for being
Thank you for
here.
having me on here too. I appreciate it. For letting me share your stage with you. I appreciate
it. Yes, for sure. Anytime. Before we get out of here, I'm going to do my last segment, which I always do, which is Speak Life. Okay, this is the segment where I leave you with a call to action for yourself, but not just for you, but for me as well. Okay, so I'll leave you with these words to hold on to until next time. Today's Speak Life affirmation is: I am a magnet for healthy friendships. Again, today's Speak Life affirmation is: I am a magnet for healthy friendships. You heard it, you say it, you write it down, and remind yourself to speak that thing and make it happen, because life be life in us all. Thank y'all again for joining us. Thank you again, Authentically, Shawn, for joining us. I appreciate you for giving your time, and thank you. Just thank you.
Thank you.
All right. See y'all next time. Bye.